my name is Corinne Talham. This is an interview about Mini Maid cleaning service for the Gainesville Business History Oral History Project run by the Inquire Capitalism program of the History Department at the University of Florida. Understand that for us and for the public, the information you are providing is a gift and an incredible historical resource, and we greatly appreciate it. This interview will be available as part of UF Oral History Collections and through UF Digital Collections and YouTube. So can you please introduce yourself? What's your full name, and could you spell it?
My name's Carol Doak. Doak is D-O-A-K.
So can you tell me a little bit about yourself? Were you born in Gainesville, or how did you end up in Gainesville?
Yeah, I am actually from New England. I was born in South Dakota, but I'm a New Englander at heart. I was raised in Massachusetts, so Amherst, Massachusetts, and my dad was a professor at University of Massachusetts, and I'm the youngest of four who we all did get our degrees there, and some of them beyond. My sister's actually on the faculty here at University of Florida, and her husband, being an entrepreneur, had a cleaning service in Jacksonville and encouraged us to come to Gainesville because there wasn't a lot of competition here. And so from Massachusetts to long story there, but coaching a couple sports I played in college, and ended up in the corporate world for a little bit, got married, had 3 kids, and just decided we need to do our own thing. Corporate world was, 50, 60-hour work weeks, and with 3 little ones, we decided to venture down to be near family and start, actually we bought it as a existing company already.
Nice. Starting with Mini Maid, was that your first sort of foray into business, or did you study business in college?
No, in college I studied actually exercise science and biomechanics, and had some vision of doing something with that. Then I was a two-sport athlete at UMass with field hockey and lacrosse, and so kind of with that success that we had there, just pursued more in the coaching field for a few years. So coached at UMass and then at Old Dominion University, and then with the US team and the Olympic team some. And so then, and then got out of coaching with the kids and was in the corporate world and was assistant to the CEO of a major company in Virginia Beach. And so that, in a way, that helped me a lot with the business end of it. Just the corporate world is, it's very different, but also how you treat people, how you treat services and clients, and that kind of was very helpful.
Yeah. So what was the process of when you first got to Gainesville and started with Mini Maid? How did you sort of, transition into being in charge? And
Well, it was actually at the time, a franchise. So there was a prior owner, and honestly, I was finally at the point where I had a 1, a 2, and a 4-year-old. And so the thought was, my husband, who was a pilot, he was a corporate pilot, as we came down and sort of transitioned, that he would run the business. So he did the initial training and the initial most of the transition. But then he really missed the flying, so he was able to get on staff with some individuals, and including University of Florida, flew for the athletic department for several years. But anyway, at some point he had that opportunity and didn't love what he was doing. It was a business with 24 women employees, so that was quite a change for him, going from a corporate world to that, and then me having a background in coaching and really empowering women, it was a kind of a natural transition for me to sort of take over from there.
Yeah, cool. And when was that?
That was 1994, so 30 years ago.
And it's been working.
It's been working, and I've been working.
Yeah.
No, it's been good.
Good. So when you first started, what was, I guess, your initial service area, or like what?
Yeah, we have expanded some since then, but not, so technically with a franchise, you own a service area. And so we owned Alachua County. We didn't, however, go everywhere. We was more, just Gainesville, Micanopy, maybe a little bit of Keystone, but we had it a little bit smaller than it is today.
Nice. And you've expanded a little bit, but I guess you're still within Alachua County.
We're still within Alachua County, but there's such growth going to Newberry. So we did kind of have the forethought to really offer services out there several years ago, and that's just blown up out to the west. We do High Springs now in Alachua High Springs, Newberry, because that's all just really growing in that area, and Micanopy, and I think that's about it, Gainesville.
So you talked about how your coaching experience was kind of helpful for leadership and leading, I guess, a team of women.
Right.
Is that still a big, I guess, inspiration for the business and your business model?
I think so. I think if it was a business that you just do the stuff and you get the profit, and that would be different, but that would not empower me at all. So I think to give me purpose for the business is really empowering women to know that what they're doing is super important. And so I think that maybe comes from some of a coaching background too. So we do work in teams. So there are teams of 3 that we work in, sometimes 4. So, finding the leadership there, the captains, so to speak, of each team. And then, just teaching, reminding them that what they do is not just cleaning a toilet, it's changing the peacefulness of a home when the family gets home at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, nice. Can you talk about any challenges or obstacles you faced at the beginning or over the course of?
Yeah. So in the very beginning, we were actually numbers-wise, as far as employees, we were actually larger than we are now. And the goal, was okay, let's just add more houses. Let's just more. And not realizing we weren't as in control. So we that was hard. There was so much going on. We had 7 teams going. Now we have 4 to 5. And that's just a lot of quality control to deal with that we weren't prepared for. And so initially, and we didn't love what we were doing. We really didn't. It was okay, let's get through these 7 years and pay off the business so we can do something else. But then my attitude changed a little bit. We couldn't just walk away, right? But then I tried to retrain my mind to understand the value of it differently and the kind of mission work that we're doing, for both employees, finding a great stable place to work, a Monday through Friday job for a lot of single moms and things like that, to just helping clients. And so, so we had a different purpose. Challenging wise, there's not much more than COVID was just such a challenge. That's a whole nother chapter to get into. But, we were able to not shut down totally because we were considered an essential service. And so we just really shifted to making ourselves being the first line of medical care, basically. We're going in to sanitize, and we even shifted our uniforms. We now wear scrubs, and they're microbial resistant scrubs and that kind of thing. And we had to shift a lot of things, work in teams of 2 and all that. So mask and all, temperatures of mask and all the crazy stuff that we did to get through. But we kept people working and kept some people just really needed us more. The people that were immunocompromised needed more cleaning at that time, we thought. So,
that's great. Did you, I guess during COVID, did your number, or did the business kind of shrink a little bit?
It sure did, yeah. Almost overnight, I think it did for most people. I gave employees the option of just staying home for a period of time until we kind of got things figured out.
Yeah.
Others just couldn't afford to do that.
Yeah.
So we did have a lot of commercial clients still, or not a lot, but we had some dropped off too. But there were others that just didn't buy into the COVID thing too, and did want us to come in. So we probably were down 85% for probably a month. Yeah. And then it slowly trickled back. And we're probably busier now than we ever were.
Yeah. Were there any significant risks that you took in, I guess, the process of taking over the business or changing the business at all?
Yeah, I think just the mindset of taking a business is a huge risk, right? There's so much unknown that we can't control. I think the biggest risk, there wasn't anything huge. I've owned the business 30 years, so I'm not great with change. It tells you something about that. But I think, just changing some models of cleaning and, increasing rates and, I think COVID, just getting through that was probably the biggest challenge for us and risk that we did just to, yes, we are going to keep people in the homes. Yes, we're going to keep going. Yeah. There were several companies in the area that did shut down totally and never did reopen. So unfortunately. Yeah.
What are some of the marketing or advertising strategies that you implemented when you first opened the business, and then maybe how it's changed?
Wow, that has changed. I remember sitting down at a table like this with the yellow page guy. The yellow pages and where you are on the yellow pages and how big. And every time you wanted to, save a little money or shrink down your marketing, it would cost more. So, it was just such a game that we played there. We did a lot of print ads at that time. There were several magazines, newspapers, and then also radio. We're in a situation where we can trade some things. So we would clean radio stations and get airtime with that. Yeah. And even the mini mint back then, the coupons that we would get. We did some door hanging too, as clients would go. But now it's really all online based. We spend a lot of time on our website and Google AdWords and Google Guaranteed, and then mostly word of mouth and just networking. I'm in a BNI chapter locally. That's been the best marketing I could have ever done, probably. And that's so great. It's changed quite a bit. We don't spend as much dollars, but I guess we do it in a different way. So.
Yeah. And your website, there's a blog portion of the website. When did you start that, and what sort of inspired that section?
So it's probably about 6 or 7 years ago that we started that, I think. Part of that initially was Google kind of, you could connect better with, the keywords for so the blogs would have we made sure they had keywords for our website so that we would be up higher on the Google pages. But also it was a way to connect more and educate. Like, I think when we first started, it's a kind of interesting thought is, I think that organized cleaning was not really a thing. It was probably the industry itself didn't have the best reputation. We had a lot of people that would just, we called them trunk slammers, throw some cleaning stuff in a vacuum in a trunk and go and clean. And there's some great individual cleaning people that do that, but there's also a lot that would steal and kind of give the industry a bad name. So my goal in some of that is just to educate better and know that we're super professional and have the clients in mind. So
great. So can you talk about your customer base a little bit? Is it, I guess it's probably a lot of repeat customers.
Yeah, well, we have a little bit of everything. We try to be available to most everybody, but so about 85% of our customer base are residential clients. We have about 15% commercial clients.
Okay.
The difference, we're not a janitorial service in that we don't clean after hours or on weekends. I was really set on that we would only clean Monday through Friday and no nights or weekends or holidays. And mostly for our employees, just to have a quality of life and good balance. So we then, so the commercial stuff we do is during the daytime. So there's some people that, since work in teams of 3, we can go into an office and maybe clean it in a half hour while they're on lunch break or something like that. So we're not disruptive of the commercial side. The residential side, I would say we have a lot of retirees, a lot of UF professors, retirees, and current professors as well. So I feel great about that. And then just busy families, 2 income households, which are kind of the norm these days. They're just too busy to take the time there's enough laundry to do. There's enough, taking care of kids to do that. Just to have the house cleaned all at once in one day is such a treat for a lot of people. So we have some people that are weekly, that have us come weekly, some people bi-weekly, some people monthly, and some just call us in a panic when they're about to have a party or the in-laws are coming. And so we're available for both. And if you're a regular client, then we can you don't ever have to call to schedule. We just, that we're coming every other week, for instance, on a Thursday. So.
Yeah, cool. So you talked about how, I guess when you decided to move here, that Gainesville had less competition and fewer other businesses in the market. Is that still the case?
It is somewhat the case. The industry has improved so much. So there are some more companies and that are great. And I try to reach out to any of them that come into town just to say, let's, how can we help each other? And I'm not one to be competitive with them necessarily. I just think it's best to improve the industry. So, so that there are also more smaller companies, I would say, not franchises so much, but it's improved so much that I think there's smaller, I won't say trunk slammers, but they're smaller companies with 4 or 5 employees or something that do well. But there are a lot of those. There are just not a lot of big companies. And that with the number of staff that we have a little more flexibility to service those people.
And do you feel like Gainesville has sort of I don't know if it would be a unique customer base, but maybe with the university and even the hospital, I guess a lot of people that have busy weeks, do you feel like that helps a lot with?
Yes. I think that business? Gainesville gives us as a business kind of a built-in client base. It's very transient, of course, but whenever, which can be good and bad because, we also do like first-time home cleaning, like empty home cleanings when people move in or move out. We do those as well. And we get a number of those just because of the transient nature. But, you've got, as I said, we have not gone into doing a lot of the student cleanings. It's just hard now we've got all these high rises and logistically think about, okay, you have a team in a van with all the equipment and they have to, at the standard, they have to park 2 miles away and then we do some students when, mom calls us and schedules, okay, clean so-and-so's apartment because I'm coming to visit, that kind of thing. So we do some students, but it's not a big part of our population, but definitely professors and then a lot of doctors as well. Coming in and leaving. So it's a nice built-in base of clientele.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I had a question, then I forgot it. I guess you already talked a little bit about how the business has, my question was, how many employees do you have now? And that's, you said you shrank, you sort of downsized
when we
a
first
little
started, we had about 24 cleaning technicians, and now we're down to about 16. So we can kind of do 4 and 5 teams, and then I have 2 office staff as well. But we have, some of my employees have been with me, there's 3 or 4 of them that have been with me 20 plus years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Sophia is one of my employees who has been with me 29 years, and she's cleaned over, we keep track, like McDonald's, how many customers sold, but Sophia's cleaned like 38,000 units over her time.
Yeah.
So it's been, it's really amazing to have longevity in a lot of our employees, because it's very relational too with clients.
Yeah.
So we have clients that we've had for 30 years.
Yeah.
And we've seen, changes in their life, but we've been with them through that too.
Yeah. Cool. It makes you feel like you're a part of the community and making a difference and an impact in people's lives.
We go through, births, graduations, marriages, and sometimes deaths, unfortunately, too.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. What would you consider your greatest success in owning Mini Maid? I know it's a hard question.
Yeah, I think what's most important to me, which I feel the best about, is, with businesses, they say clients are the most important, and always right. I think that my employees are more important, almost. And I work really hard with that, with the culture. And they work so hard, and to do this day in and day out, and just knowing that they make a difference, and for employees to maybe leave us after a few years, and be gone for a few years and come back to us is, I think I love that they feel safe and it's a good place, to work and to serve others. And so I don't know, just the whole community of service oriented serving, and we also do free cleanings for women who are going through cancer, called Cleaning for a Reason. And so I don't know, just making a difference in people's lives, and knowing and encouraging and reminding our employees that they make a difference too.
That's great. I guess, what's next for Mini Maid? Are there any plans to expand, or?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is it working the way it's going?
It's working the way it's going. There's opportunity, certainly, to expand more in there has always been opportunity. I'm not sure I'm the one to have the ambition to do that, but opportunity to, I don't know about expanding area-wise outside of where we are, but more into after hours cleaning. And there's the whole medical area. We have so much medical here, right? All the doctors that have stayed here, that it's a different type of cleaning. But to be able to do that in the evening and weekends, that's something that we're kind of exploring a little bit. I would hire somebody to run that, because I don't want to get the calls at 10 o'clock at night that the car broke down or whatever. So that's an area to explore. So it's kind of a question from there. I'd love to see it. Again, being 30 years going, and I'm trying to step away a little bit more myself having my key people in the office allowing me to do that, which are great. So trying to travel a little bit more.
That's great. I think that's pretty much it. I guess my last thing is, your employees, is it still mostly women?
It is, yeah. We try really hard to hire men, and we have had some. They don't seem to last quite as long, but the right personality, they do great for a time, but they don't seem to. It's tough, man, with 20 women to but they get a lot of attention too. So right now, and we average, the age is from probably 19 years old to 64 years old, and so I love kind of the community. It's kind of interesting, because there are some young ones that really look up, that the older ones can help with life stuff,
Yeah.
and they're with each other all day in a vehicle and so they spend a lot of time talking about themselves and their issues.
Yeah.
And so I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you. I think that's all my questions.
Okay.
We really appreciate your time.
No worries. That was quick.